So here's a listing I saw, and I just went crazy. I couldn't believe it looked like a Bandit Trans Am inside of a junkyard, and that was just crazy to see. I knew I had to have it, so I started reaching out to them, and I was finally able to get in contact with someone over there at the junkyard. As you guys can see, it was listed for $2,200 supposedly. After talking to them, of course, that went up. They ended up wanting more. We ended up giving about $2,500 for it, but I still felt like that was a pretty good deal and kind of a cool story finding a Bandit in a junkyard. So we just arrived at the pull apart in Birmingham. We're actually here to get a Bandit Trans Am that someone scrapped. You guys might have seen it come up on Facebook. Thankfully, we had someone local, so they went ahead and purchased it for us, and we finally made it down here to get it. So we're gonna go ahead and check in with the guys and go check this thing out. So we're in here in the yard, going to look for the Trans Am now. It's supposed to be over here in the corner. I think I see it now, so there it is. Someone scrapped a 77 Bandit Trans Am. Crazy. Pretty crazy to see this thing. It's not very often you guys see a Bandit Trans Am getting scrapped. Looks like it was last registered in '97, so it's been sitting a long time, but looks like it still has a lot of original paint. As you guys can see, the decals and everything on it still. So pretty cool find to come by. Birds pretty much all faded away. So in behind me is the Bandit Trans Am that we are buying from Pull Apart. You guys might have seen this thing come up on Facebook. Luckily we had someone local, so they're able to come down here and snag it real quick for us before it got sold. It's not very often that you see a black Hearst T-top Bandit Trans Am, let alone a real Bandit. We did go ahead and pull a PHS on this thing, and it is a real Y82 Bandit Trans Am. It actually has a couple rare options on it, including a red interior, which is very uncommon for a Bandit Trans Am, so it's kind of cool. I'm glad to be saving this one and getting it out of the junkyard. So here's the PHS I was talking about earlier. As you guys can see, it has the Y82 package, which is the special edition package, or other known as a Bandit package. Then you can also see it's optioned with a W72, which is a high performance 400, as well as a lot of other cool options, so it's kind of cool to have this and verify that all the options it had. Pretty much the only info we got on the car, the history on it, is that an older guy that owned the tow yard had it in his collection for a while, and he had passed away, and his family just started selling off a lot of his cars or scrapping them out, and that's how this one ended up here. So I'm glad we were actually able to save this thing and get it out of here before it got crushed or destroyed. So as you guys can see here on the cow tag, it's a 77, black paint with the Firethorn red interior, WS4, so that matches up with everything that we seen on the PHS as far as options, so that's good to see. You can see what's left of the red interior. See the gold Bandit steering wheel, what's left of it. So today we're going to be getting the Trans Am unloaded from the trailer. First step is we got to get the car jacked up, get these old wheels and tires off, and go and get some tires mounted on these rims. That way they can hold air so we can get this thing rolled off. We try to get air in these tires and they just won't hold. As you guys can see, they're completely split open, so they just won't hold any air. So we're going to go ahead and get the car jacked up, pull these wheels and tires off, and head to the tire shop and get some used tires put on just so we can get this thing rolled.
Old rims off the car. They're stuck on there pretty good. You can tell they've been on there for a long time. We're going to go ahead and get these in the back of the truck, head up to the tire shop and get some good used tires put on there. That way we can air them up and then hopefully get this thing rolled off the trailer and get it in the shop and get a better look at it underneath and see what we're working with.
So unfortunately we lost audio here. I guess when it was pouring down rain, somehow something happened. But basically we got back from the tire shop, got some good used tires on there. We're going to go ahead and get them mounted back up on the car. That way we can unload the vehicle. shop. We're gonna go ahead and get it on the lift and get a good inspection underneath, see what it all looks like, and I'll bring you guys along for that. See some rust there in the core support up in the corner. It's usually pretty common with the battery tray area. That's nothing out of the ordinary. Front frame looks all right. We do have what's supposed to be the original transmission. We're still working on contacting the other shop to see if the original engine is still available. This is unfortunate to see though. As you guys can see, there is a decent amount of rust here in the floorboards. We were hoping, since the car was in Alabama its whole life, that it'd be rust free, but unfortunately, as you guys can see, there's a good amount of rust in the floorboards. Rear frame rails look good, which is good to see on these cars. It does have some of the typical rear tailpan rust. Pretty much every Trans Am we see has that, so that's to be expected. Does have the original limited slip differential, so that's good. But yeah, unfortunately the floors are a little bit worse shape than we were hoping, so I'm not too sure at this point what we're going to do with the project. So we went ahead and checked the transmission out. We wanted to know if it was the original transmission to the car, because we were told by the people at the junkyard there, before the car got scrapped, they actually had pulled the motor out and decided to keep it just to use the motor. And I've been trying to get in contact with them to see if we could purchase that motor and confirm it was the original motor. But after looking at the transmission, it is actually a 700 R4. So it actually has the Chevy bell housing. So that would tell me that the motor that was in here before it was scrapped was probably a Chevy motor. So more than likely it's not the matching numbers one, and also the transmission obviously isn't matching numbers. So at this point, we're not going to be looking for the original drivetrain. So I'm not too sure at this point what we want to do with the build. Obviously you guys seen there's some rust in the floor and it is not matching numbers. It is a rare Bandit car, being that it was optioned with factory red interior and stuff like that. But I'm just not sure exactly what we want to do with it at this point. If you guys have any ideas or recommendations on what you think we should do with this, or what you would like to see done with it, drop a comment down below. A couple ideas we were thinking is either to kind of make like a rat rod and do an LS swap in it, or just potentially kind of store it away till we get time to do a proper restoration, and we'll put it back to a Pontiac driveline and do a full period correct restoration on it. But not too sure what we want to do yet, but we'd like to hear from you guys. Next step is we're going to try to get into the trunk and see what's in there, see if there is anything in there. So we'll bring you guys along for that. So we want to open the trunk. We did get an ignition key, but we didn't get any other key with it. But we were just looking, and it looks like someone has already took the lock cylinder out of the trunk before. So good for us, saves us a lot of time trying to get into it. So just go ahead and pop the latch and check out what's in here. All right, so kind of happy with what's in here. I was expecting to honestly find nothing, but I don't know if you guys can see on camera, but we do have a set of headers in here, an intake, carburetor, covers. Yeah, this looks like a small block Chevy valve cover, so that kind of confirms what we were thinking, that it had a Chevy motor. Got a starter in here. The best part being is we do have the scoop still, so that's kind of nice to see the original decal and stuff on there. So this was a Y82 car as well, so it had the high performance 400 in it originally, so that's kind of cool to see. Yeah, I'm not sure what we're going to do with the project at this point. We were hoping that, you know, it was potentially a little bit cleaner as far as rust wise and stuff, and we had a couple ideas in mind, but after finding some of the rust in the floorboard and stuff, I'm not too sure what we want to do with it at this point. We may just go ahead and clean it up and list it for sale as well. So if you guys are interested in anything in it, you can reach out to us. It looks like the car has the original paint from the front doors back. I'm not sure if maybe it was in a front end accident or something. We can tell that the fenders and nose were repainted at one point. But yeah, I'll kind of let you guys know in the future if we decide to do anything else with it, or if it's just kind of going to be one of those long-term projects that we store and wait till we get around to doing. So if anyone's interested in this car, just go ahead and reach out to us at our shop number. Our number is 330-296-2000. Also, guys, don't forget to enter for your chance to win the Porsche. Remember, it is free to enter, and it doesn't end until March 31st, so go ahead and check that video out.